Hello everyone. Real quickly, I'm just going to show you some of the effects of not servicing your vehicle. So we have an engine head and crankshaft from a 2003 Mitsubishi Chariot GDI. So the complaint was that the engine has lost power and there's a lot of severe knocking here being heard when the engine is running. So upon pulling up the engine, first thing I realized is that if you look at these grooves here, these are the camshaft bores. These are where the camshaft spin on, right? It is supposed to be really smooth, really shiny, right? But if we look here, we can see that this bore is entirely damaged, right? And some of the other bores are pretty scraped up. So the first thing is that as this engine head stands is useless at the moment because this is a no-no. This is going to damage your crankshaft, your camshaft, sorry. And this is caused by the oil being thinned out, right? Unable to do its job to protect the surfaces and prevent reduce friction, right? So you have to service your vehicle because after a while, when the oil breaks down, which is natural from being used, it can also get contaminated, right? So you have thinned out contaminated oil flowing through the entire system. So metal, it's not going to lubricate properly. So as you can see, metal is going to be damaged. You'll have metal and metal contact, or you may have contaminants between the camshaft and the bores, and you end up with a severe damage, right? So it's possible to machine this, but it may be time consuming and expensive. So as it stands, this head would have to be replaced, right? And another thing is that after a while, another effect could be that the oil pump can fail, right? Because the oil pump is going to have to contend with these thin out oil, dirty oil, contaminated oil. So after a while, the oil pump is not really able to hold the pressure and push the oil through the entire engine. So when we have oil pump failure, we have oil pressure very low to no oil pressure. No oil pressure means that oil is not flowing through the engine, right, to do its job. So we end up with these type of severe damages. Now, after removing the head and then move on to the engine block. So here we have the crankshaft, right? And as this crankshaft stands, it's a dud, really. It can be machined, but these are known as the crankshaft journals, main journals, where the crankshaft spin in the engine block. We have the connecting rod journals, which the pistons are connected to via the connecting rod. These are supposed to be perfectly smooth and shiny. These are known as frictionless surfaces. But as you look closely, you can see a lot of a lot of issues going on here. All right. Number one connecting rod journal being the worst. This is an absolute no-no. So this is the main cause of the amount of knocking noise being heard when this engine was running. All right. So we have this completely damaged journal, and we have other damaged journals, right? But this one, number one, connecting rod journal being the worst, the others being severely scored and damaged. So this crankshaft would have to be brought to an industrial machine shop to be machined down. They'd have to grind down the journals to 0.25 of a millimeter less, or zero point 0.5 of a millimeter, or 0.75 of a millimeter, right? In this case, you need to get oversized bearings. Nothing is wrong with that. That can be done safely, and when you do that, I mean the engine will carry on. But as the crankshaft sits as it is, it's useless as the head, right? So this is the main issue with not servicing the vehicle. Oil thins out, not able to protect the crankshaft. So the crankshaft is the backbone of the engine. If it fails, everything fails, right? So lack of servicing caused the oil pump to fail. Fail oil pump, no oil going through the system, right? So you have severely damaged crankshaft, damaged engine head, which most likely the camshafts are going to be damaged as well, right? the connecting rod may not be damaged, but you would have to check it to be certain. Right, as we can see in the bearings are what the crankshafts that are between the journals and whatever is connected to. So we have the main bearings for the main journals and we have the connecting rod bearings for the connecting rod journals. And as we can see, they're supposed to be pretty and shiny and smooth. They're rough. They're like they have potholes like the roads. These are not good at all. These are lack of oil pressure, lack of servicing. This is number one connecting rod journals bearing, and what you can see here, they are actually fused together. So during operation, one slid under the other because each journal has two, right? It's in half, right? So as you can see for this um, one went under the other and they're fused together. Added to being fused together, they're completely um, dug out. All right. So what happened while the engine was running, the connecting rod was literally moving on the journal. So this gave the loudest. This is a very terrible knocking sound. All right. So and this is at least $100,000 of repair, right? 100,000 in parts, maybe another 100,000 in repairs, right? Even if you buy another engine, you'll never get a new engine. You're gonna get a used engine, and who's to tell that this isn't already happened to the engine you bought? So typically, you're gonna have to still pull up that engine and rebuild it. Now, any engine can rebuild once there's no structural damage because when I took up the engine, I checked the head. Well, we're gonna replace the head. We have another engine, right? We're gonna replace the head. So the other head that's going on, check it, ensure it's not cracked, it's not warped, get it cleaned up, change all the service components like the valve seals, clean the valves, grind the valve seats, and set it up. Alright. We're gonna use a different crankshaft. We're gonna bring it to the industrial machine shop for them to check it as well, ensure because a lot of times the crankshaft can be damaged and you won't. The journals can be out of round, so they get egg shaped after a while. You're not going to be able to feel that or see that. You're gonna have to use special tools to determine that. All right. So we're gonna put up this crankshaft. It still can be used in the future. This head can be used in the future, so we're gonna put it up as spare, but they would have to be machined before they use. So we're going to get use a different crankshaft, check it, get fresh rings, bearings, everything, rebuild the engine. Check the engine. The engine is structurally fine. It's not cracked. It's not warped. All right, it's good to go. Just need to service it. So you need to ensure that you service the vehicle on time, at least every 5,000 kilometers. No more than 10,000 for brand new vehicles, right? Use certified technicians, professionals, companies, etc. And it's not just changing the oil, the vehicle must be serviced. Changing the oil, changing other fluids, checking the filters, inspecting the vehicle, testing the vehicles, checking torque specifications, checking to ensure that other things are in specifications, lubricating some components. All right, and this is what we offer at Raven Automotive Services. We service the vehicle. We do what the dealership does to your vehicle as well at a very, very modest price. All right, so to prevent all of this, we need to service the vehicle, not just change oil, not just drive the vehicle until it goes. No, you need to use a certified, experienced company like Raven Automotive Services to ensure that the vehicle is properly serviced, properly maintained, checked, and eventually the bearings will go. But when they go naturally, they go without having to damage the crankshaft, right? So we use the correct amount of oil, correct type of oil, correct grade, right? Change it at the correct mileage, right? And go through the rest of the vehicle as per the manual, and you'll be good to go. So let's not have this type of issue. This is actually one of the issues we have with a lot of vehicles now. They're not being maintained, so this is what we end up with. So thanks for watching, and ensure to see to it that your vehicles are properly maintained. Have a good one.